Have you ever felt overwhelmed, not knowing where to start, as if time were a relentless enemy? In times of crisis, this feeling can become even more intense, almost paralyzing. But what if I told you there's a way to transform this situation? In this video, we're going to explore the secrets of Deborah, one of the most inspiring figures in the Bible, and how she managed time and resources with mastery in the midst of crisis. If you want to learn how to master your time, use your resources wisely, and emerge stronger from any storm, you're in the right place. Ready to discover how to turn chaos into victory? Deborah lived in a time when the people of Israel were facing great difficulties. The scene was one of oppression and despair, with the Israelites being dominated by Jabin, king of Canaan, and his commander Sisera. The crisis was deep and affected every aspect of life, economic, social, and spiritual. In the midst of this chaos, Deborah emerged, a woman of faith and courage, who was not only a judge but also a prophetess, guiding the people with divine wisdom. Her role was crucial, for in times of crisis, strong and inspired leadership becomes indispensable. Deborah knew how to position herself as a true leader, understanding that her mission went beyond judging. It included bringing liberation and hope to her people. In moments like these, the ability to manage time and resources effectively is more than a skill, it is a vital necessity. Deborah, with her discernment and divine guidance, was able to see beyond the immediate difficulties and plan strategies for victory. She knew that to face crises, it was essential not only to react to problems but to act proactively, anticipating challenges and preparing for them. This strategic vision set her apart and made her a prominent figure in Israel's history. This crisis scenario is not so far from the reality that many face today. How often do we find ourselves in situations where time seems scarce and resources insufficient? The difference lies in how we choose to face these moments. Just like Deborah, it is possible to turn crises into opportunities for growth, as long as there is good management of time and available resources. This is where the great lessons we can learn from her story begin. Deborah teaches us that even in the midst of the greatest crises, the right positioning can change everything. She not only recognized the seriousness of the situation but also took responsibility for leading her people toward freedom. Today, this lesson is valuable for anyone who finds themselves in a moment of difficulty. Knowing where and how to position yourself is the first step to overcoming. And, above all, Deborah shows us that true leadership comes from the ability to serve and guide, even when circumstances are adverse. Deborah was not just a prominent figure as a judge, but she was also a wise woman in managing time. In a period where urgencies were constant and pressures came from all sides, Deborah knew how to discern what was truly important. She understood that not everything urgent is indeed a priority. Her wisdom lay in understanding the right moment to act without being driven by anxiety or fear. This is something essential for all of us, learning to separate what needs to be done now from what can wait. One of Deborah's remarkable traits was her ability to avoid distractions. In a position of leadership, it is easy to be drawn to minor issues that, while urgent, are not necessarily important. However, Deborah kept her focus on the responsibilities God had entrusted to her, not allowing herself to be diverted by trivial matters. She knew her mission required concentration and that to be effective, she needed to direct her time and energy to the tasks that would truly make a difference. This teaches us that, in our daily lives, we must be attentive not to waste time on things that do not contribute to our larger goals. Practically speaking, this wisdom can be applied to our daily lives in various ways. Imagine, for example, that you have a list of tasks for the day. Instead of starting with the easiest or seemingly urgent ones, take a moment and evaluate which ones will have a significant impact on your long-term goals. This reflection, which may seem simple, is what distinguishes someone who just works a lot from someone who is truly productive and effective. Deborah also understood that time management was intrinsically linked to trust in God. She did not rush to make decisions without first seeking divine guidance. This gave her the serenity needed to act with precision, without wasting time or energy. For her, time was a resource given by God and should be used wisely and intentionally. And here is a crucial point: when we trust in God, we learn to manage our time more wisely because we know He will guide us to the right actions at the right time. Deborah's story challenges us to reflect on how we are using the time we have. Are we focusing on what really matters? Are we seeking guidance for our daily decisions? Deborah's wisdom teaches us that the key to a balanced and effective life lies in learning to prioritize and focus, always with a heart guided by faith and divine wisdom. Deborah was not only a wise leader but also a natural strategist. Amid the crisis, she knew that victory would not come merely through strength but through careful planning and organization. Deborah understood that to defeat the enemy, it was necessary to develop a clear and effective action plan. This strategy not only involved mobilizing the army but also choosing capable leaders, like Barak, who would be able to carry out the mission with excellence. Deborah shows that in times of uncertainty, planning is a powerful tool that prepares us to face challenges with confidence. One of the most notable aspects of Deborah's planning was her ability to remain calm and clear-headed even amidst fear and uncertainty. She knew that a good plan could make all the difference, regardless of external circumstances. In our days, this translates to the importance of planning even when everything around us seems chaotic. When we prepare, we give ourselves a chance to anticipate problems and create solutions before the obstacles even arise. Deborah's strategy also involved the effective distribution of tasks. She did not try to do everything herself but trusted her leaders and warriors, like Barak, to perform their specific roles. This intelligent delegation is something we can all learn. When we recognize the strengths of those around us and entrust them with responsibilities, we create a stronger team capable of achieving greater results. In our daily lives, this can be applied by entrusting tasks to colleagues, family members, or work partners, allowing each one to contribute in the best possible way. Moreover, Deborah understood the value of having a plan B. She knew that things do not always go as expected, and therefore, she was flexible and prepared to adapt to changes. In times of crisis, flexibility is essential. Life is full of unforeseen events, and those who know how to adapt, adjusting the plan as necessary, have a better chance of success. Planning with this mindset of adaptation is a valuable lesson that we can apply in both our personal and professional lives. Deborah teaches us that to face crises, more than courage is needed, strategy is essential. A good plan does not eliminate challenges but equips us to deal with them effectively. And just as she trusted God to guide her steps, we must also include trust in our plans, knowing that He is in control, guiding and empowering us for the victories to come. Deborah was in a situation where resources were scarce, and the enemy's strength seemed overwhelming. However, she knew that in times of crisis, the real skill lies not in having many resources but in knowing how to use them wisely. Deborah managed to mobilize what she had, even if little, and multiplied it through faith and strategy. This is a powerful principle. Even when it seems like we don't have enough, we can achieve great results if we manage well what we have. She demonstrated that with creativity and wisdom, it is possible to do much with little. Instead of lamenting the lack of resources, Deborah focused on maximizing what was within her reach. This is a valuable lesson for today, where scarcity can arise in various forms, whether financial, emotional, or even time. Instead of concentrating on the lack, she directed her efforts to what could be done, mobilizing the army with determination and faith, knowing that God would provide what was necessary for victory. Deborah also teaches us that in times of crisis, trust in God is the most valuable resource. When human resources seem insufficient, faith gives us the strength to move forward. Deborah knew that despite the limitations, God was by her side, and this motivated her to act with courage and determination. Today, this lesson remains relevant. When we face crises, it is easy to focus on what is lacking, but faith allows us to see beyond the circumstances, trusting that God is in control and will provide what we need. Speaking of providing resources, let me remind you of the importance of always seeking learning and growth, especially in challenging times. If you haven't subscribed to the Divine Prosperity channel yet, do it now. Leave your like and explore other videos that will help you strengthen even more on your journey of faith and overcoming. Finally, Deborah's story shows us the importance of identifying and allocating resources strategically. Knowing where to invest your time, energy, and material resources can be the key to transforming a difficult situation into a victory. And like Deborah, we can learn to see the potential in the little we have, using it wisely to achieve extraordinary results, always trusting that God will be by our side, supplying our needs. Deborah was not just a strategist or efficient manager. Above all, she was an inspiring leader. In a time of great difficulty, Deborah knew how to motivate and unite the people of Israel, bringing hope amid the chaos. Her leadership was not based on brute strength, but on empathy, wisdom, and faith. She managed to touch people's hearts, showing that even in the worst circumstances, unity and trust in God can lead to victory. Clear and empathetic communication was one of the keys to Deborah's success. She knew how to convey her ideas and plans in a way that people understood and committed to the cause. Her leadership was not authoritarian but collaborative, involving others in decisions and giving them a sense of purpose. This is a valuable lesson for any leader today. The ability to communicate clearly and empathetically is essential to inspiring and mobilizing a group toward a common goal. Deborah led with integrity and courage, characteristics that earned her the trust and respect of the people. She did not ask for more than she was willing to give herself. Her leadership was a reflection of her own life, guided by solid principles and trust in God. In the modern world, where leadership is often associated with power and control, Deborah reminds us that true leadership is about serving others, guiding them by example, and being willing to face challenges alongside them. The impact of positive leadership, like Deborah's, goes beyond immediate results. She not only led Israel to a military victory but also planted seeds of hope and faith in people's hearts. Her influence endured and inspired future generations. In times of crisis, such leadership not only solves problems but also transforms lives, creating a lasting legacy. This is the leadership that truly makes a difference. Deborah teaches us that to be an effective leader, more than technical skills or authority are needed. It is necessary to have a clear vision, communicate that vision inspiringly, and, above all, lead with the heart. If today you find yourself in a position of leadership or aspire to be, remember Deborah's example. A leader who unites, inspires, and transforms is one who, even in the greatest crises, guides others to victory. The battle led by Deborah and Barak against Sisera's army was a decisive moment in Israel's history. This was not just any victory, it was the result of effective leadership, strategic planning, and above all, wise management of resources and time. Deborah was fully aware that preparation was essential, but she also knew that on the battlefield, trust in God would make all the difference. Her faith was rewarded, and the army of Israel, against all odds, defeated the enemy forces. This victory is a clear example of how good management can transform a crisis situation into an opportunity for triumph. Deborah did not let herself be discouraged by the apparent superiority of the enemy. On the contrary, she used the resources she had in the best possible way and trusted that God would do what was beyond her control. In modern life, this teaches us that even when we face seemingly insurmountable challenges, careful preparation and efficient management can put us in a position to win. The success of Deborah's battle also shows how preparation and trust in God are intrinsically linked. She not only trusted that God would grant victory, but also did everything within her power to make it happen. Preparing, planning, and managing resources well are acts of faith just as much as praying and trusting. And this combination of human actions with divine dependence is what often leads us to success in our battles. Now, think about your struggles and challenges. What are the battles you need to face? Maybe it's financial difficulties, problems at work, or even personal issues that seem overwhelming. What we can learn from Deborah is that when we prepare and manage our resources, be it time, money, or skills, wisely and with faith, we have a real chance of coming out victorious, no matter the size of the challenge. Deborah's victory was more than a military triumph. It was a demonstration of God's power acting through courageous leadership and efficient management. Just as she trusted God to guide her steps, we can trust that by doing our part, God will take care of what is beyond our strength. And at the end of each battle, the victory will not only be ours, but also a testimony to what good management, combined with faith, can achieve. Deborah's story is more than an ancient tale. It is a living manual on how to face crises with wisdom, faith, and strategy. The lessons she leaves us are powerful and timeless, applicable to any situation of difficulty we may face today. From her ability to lead with empathy to her skill in managing scarce resources, Deborah shows us that even in the darkest moments, there is a way to victory. In our daily lives, we can apply these lessons in various ways. If you are going through a financial crisis, Deborah's wisdom in managing resources can inspire you to use what you have more strategically, seeking creative solutions and trusting that God will provide what is lacking. If your challenge is time, learning to prioritize and focus, as Deborah did, can transform the way you organize your daily tasks, making you more productive and less overwhelmed. Deborah also teaches us the importance of acting with courage and faith. Often, the crises we face paralyze us with fear. But just as Deborah called Barak and led the people of Israel, we are called to face our challenges head-on, trusting that God is by our side. This courage is not just about making big decisions, but also about persevering in the small things, believing that each step taken in faith brings us closer to victory. Now that we know Deborah's strategies, the next step is to apply them to our own lives. Don't put off what you can start changing now. Be inspired by Deborah and start making adjustments in how you manage your time, resources, and responsibilities. Small changes today can lead to great victories tomorrow, and Deborah's story is a powerful reminder of this. Deborah's example can transform lives, including yours. By applying these lessons, you will not only be better prepared to face crises but also become a source of inspiration and strength for those around you. After all, like Deborah, we all have the potential to lead, inspire, and win, even in the most difficult circumstances. The story of Deborah challenges us to apply everything we've learned about time and resource management, especially in times of crisis. Now, think about your own life. How can you start implementing these lessons today? Are you prioritizing correctly, using your resources wisely, or leading in a way that inspires and unites those around you? Maybe it's time to take an honest look and start acting with the same courage and determination that Deborah demonstrated. So, what will your next step be? Are you ready to turn crises into opportunities, just as Deborah did? Don't let the opportunity pass. Start applying these principles now and see how your life can change. Remember, The key is to act with faith, wisdom, and a clear strategy. And don't forget to continue learning and being inspired. Subscribe to the Divine Prosperity channel, activate notifications, and follow the upcoming content that will help you prosper in all areas of your life.